So here we go again. This would be the second time of me sitting down to talk to myself today. The uni shoot have concluded. It was kind of a mess, to the point where even I lost my patience and decided to leave the room. Just because one can explain what one needs from creative direction to do one's job 5 times, and if they ain't listening or asking the questions they need to understand, it's kind of really quite hard. I've had a thin band of patience all day. I also noticed in traffic, I'm here at the far end of town as to where I usually am, that is. And my patience have been rather thin today, even with other drivers. There's a lot of foreign reg plates here, well, foreign, not from this town. And they were driving not in accordance with the rules, worse than the people from this town. I mean, the people of this town drive too fast, but at least they aren't a hindrance. And people driving less than half the speed limit, well, legally it's less than a third, but still, less than half is still asking quite a lot of people who can't legally pass you. I managed to stick behind them, though they were only doing about 20 some kph in a fiddy, because they had been along 30 kph before. But once it turned fiddy, you can go to fiddy, you know. And I did overtake them the moment I got the chance to legally do so, which I guess is showing how little patience I have, because I have nowhere to be. I'm only here because I kind of am an irresponsible being and decided to burn some diesel to get to here. Can't really afford it at this time, but it's worth it, you know. The driving itself's worth it. And another car of this kind, not a long wheelbase, not a lorry, but the same exterior colour, just drove by. Ooh, fancy. Metro Green Metallic, A6W Volkswagen colour code. My patience have been thin with a lot of parties today, and with just about any party, to be fair. But in the end of the day, for this elective, for example, I went first, and I compiled a list of all the things one could need, and in my opinion, one should have all the things one could need if one doesn't do rehearsals. That's what rehearsals are for, among other things. And of course, other things includes things like redundance. Today, they decided, the parties responsible, we'd need a singular microphone, a stereo mic. And we cannot say with certainty because we didn't have any spare cables, but we deemed it highly likely after some diagnosis, changing headphones and so on, that one of the XLR cables for the stereo microphone's not so great, or both of them. It might have been someone else. I didn't double check their entire work because I trust them enough to do their jobs well enough to not fuck up anything major. But there was really low gain even when the mic was on. First, they didn't realise it needed to be turned on or had a battery, so maybe I should have double checked everything, you know. But in the end of the day, they are peers of mine. I am not their superior in any way, size, shape, or form. So if they don't know something they think I might know, they can ask. There's nothing saying they can't. Camera department, I guess, worked out. I still prefer not to do it. I was more camera operator than DOP, though formerly I was to be DOP, at least on the paper, I guess. I made the mistake of phrasing some things I should have phrased as statements, as questions, such as, ooh, should we change the background colour? We got curtains here, we can just slide the black out of the way, because, surprise, there was no depth. The talent was wearing black, the background was black, they were close to the back, and there was no backlight. Which is a mess up on several ends, but primarily on mine for failing to just change that. That would be a DOP thing. Well, assuming people do their job, no one would have to do it, but assuming people don't do their job, or cannot do their job, which, to be fair, can't blame anyone. As an education environment, hell, I should have just changed it. I should have not given them the option to not change it, I guess that's the thing I still got to learn. I mean, I've been learning delegation, and this is similar to delegation, I guess. There's delegating unknown variables, which I don't mind in general, but the moment they don't ask when they don't know something, they just do something wrong. Not because they believe they know it, but because they know they don't know it, but they don't care to ask, or they don't have the capacity to ask. I don't know why they would not, It becomes rather difficult because you either assume they know nothing, in which case you are seen as condescending toward them, or you assume they'll do their job, and they end up not doing their job because they don't got the knowledge to. So it's kind of slightly concerning. Did manage to get the mood back up, but the entire mood, mine in particular, but mine was down for fair reasons. I mean, yeah, okay, it's only half shooting down. I don't expect warm catering, but in the end of the day, we're all here unpaid, and a croissant per head and not even enough water bottles for everyone to have half a litre of water is kind of not so great, You can do better, I believe in you. I mean, I set a good example. I did the first shoot, and hell, I got plenty of baked goods for all dietary preferences, several kinds of soda pop / Coke, and of course water, and even some fruit. No one touched the apples, to be fair, but still I had it, And yeah, it do cost money, but in the end of the day, you don't want to mess around with people by not even giving them enough so they can stay hydrated in 22 degrees centigrade weather. Let me see what the temperature now is, because I suspect it's colder. It's going to take a while because the car's saying, I want service. Yes, I want the service for you too, car. That's 20.5 degrees centigrade now. What I just did reminds me of something, a personification of objects. I recently had the such titled paper sent to me by a friend, and oddly enough, I'd already read half of it in the past, and I have it lying around somewhere in my flat as printout, just because for autistic people or whatever, I don't got the full title. Surprise, this is a free talking format. I almost said podcast there, but it's a video format. In my opinion, podcasts are not video, and this is therefore not a video podcast. I might still make this a podcast. YouTube apparently have a feature where I can just add the whole playlist to become a podcast and be published to RSS. I don't know how I'd feel about that though, because I do live off the video to some degree. I mean, yeah, the video can be kind of boring. You might consume it as podcast, but if I show this many fingers, you don't know how many fingers I'm showing. Surprise, it was all the fingers, but 2 were up, and they were the ones that people jokingly say are not fingers because they're thumbs. Insert a big fat smile on my face here. There you go. Yeah, but patience with others in general is something I have made a lot of progress on in the last few years with myself, but I'm still a long way from where I'd want to be, particularly if I cannot control the environment or my presence in it. If it's an environment I get the choice to leave, I'll just leave. Problem is today, the tutor for some reason said, oh, no, you can't leave early. You've got to be here, it's part of the course. And you need it for the credits. And I don't understand that mindset, because we have had several people who have missed 2 appointments already. And they'll still pass the course, so... But then again, I'm reserving my right to not join the course in the latter appointments, which happen to be in June, which is when I will not have time for such things. And now we've also dropped the requirement of everyone doing every role, so I don't got to worry about doing things like audio. I can just help everywhere and do my lights. which do limit my potential growth. Then again, I highly suspect my potential growth is more so limited by what I could learn for other departments from others. In this case, because they might not have more to train. I'm still drinking the same ginger beer, by the way, as I had earlier. Had been earlier. I don't know, I believe that's colloquially fine. It's formally not correct, obviously. But yeah, I am at the far end of town and I have literally no reason to be here besides get fed up about other people driving too slowly, when I am usually the one driving slowly. Then again, this road here has a 30 speed limit, and since I've arrived, not since I started talking, but since I've arrived, a dozen or so cars have passed, probably 3 or 4 of those were significantly over speed. It's funny how that works, you know. There is actually people walking by, which I find surprising because I thought this area had next to no foot traffic, but I guess I do. And a bicyclist just went by significantly over the speed limit. You might have seen the reflection. There's another one. No, you aren't seeing them in the reflection. But they are significantly over the speed limit. And they are silent. And another one, which means they are deadly. Speed limit here is 30 kph, and another one. This one's sticking to the speed limit more or less. Yes, my eyes are not a measurement for speed, but I've also got quite some experience with moving at 30 kph due to me moving at 30 kph on a regular basis. I got here doing 30 kph and I will leave here doing 30 kph. Admittedly, I'll get to those quicker than many other people do, which I still don't understand why. I guess they just aren't paying attention to the road. I don't know. I mean, theoretically, the less bad option to that would be they do not have the capacity to pay more attention to the road. But I don't know how much less bad that is, so of an assumption to have of others. Because, I mean, if the light turned green and I got to rev my engine for you to even look at the light and realise, oh, it's green, oh, let me get out my handbrake, my e-brake, or get the car into park or into drive or whatever people do, I don't know. Oh, let me put my phone away. That kind of means, in my eyes, they should not be operating motor vehicles. And again, I might be a bit extremist on that. But in my opinion, this stuff here is heavy machinery. Hell, the one I'm in, weigh 2 metric tons. Has got the power to kill a lot of people. You shouldn't be operating it half-assedly, in my book. And I say that after I was sleep deprived yesterday. But that was still not half-assedly, as some of these other people are. That was still fully attentive. Hell, I mean, come on. You can do it, I believe in you. The human who say they can and the human who say they can't are both right. I say you can. Please let me be right. Come on, it's not that hard. And if you can't, there's nothing wrong with that. In this world, well, at least in this urban environment I am in, there is alternatives such as public transport and or paid ride services where you give people currency and they move you. You don't have to worry about it then. Admittedly, some of those people might not be qualified to move motor vehicles, or at least behave as if they weren't. But that way you're handing off the responsibility of partaking in traffic responsibly. Like, come on. There's so many people who do it professionally, you don't got to worry about doing it. It's not like you've got to do everything. In this society, we've become highly specialised. To the point where if you can't do something, or you can't do something responsibly, you don't got to do it. Yeah, okay, getting an electrician to wire up an extension lead for you, that was a car doing about 50 kph driven by me just now, by the way. Getting an electrician to wire an extension lead for you might not be economical. It's probably hella expensive. But you can also learn yourself to do it proper. I mean, it's really not that hard. I can do it. And here we come back to my self-esteem issues, because if I can do it, others must be able to as well, you know. I mean, I'm not the highest metric, the highest bar to have. So if I can do something, I expect others to be able to. I mean, come on. I might be expecting too much of others, and expectations are not healthy, I guess, to some degree. But it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, come on, people. You have minds, use them. Just starting the engine because I'm paranoid about the battery. And a bicycle going below the speed limit, but on the pavement at the same time as one going below the speed limit in the wrong direction in a one-way street. That is not free for bicycles going the wrong way. If I had been driving then, I would have had a problem, because they would have had to stop. And I would have had to stop to not run them over, which I would legally be required to. I mean, come on, people, it's really not that hard. For bicyclists, okay, I can understand. You never have to pass a license or anything of the kind to be allowed on a bicycle. Might not be realistic to actually require that, I guess. But the moment you got a motor in your thing, well, besides an assistive pedelec motor for electric bicycles, you need a bloody license to operate the thing. And if you need a license, I should not be mad with you. I should be mad with the bodies that facilitate you getting a license. I should just be disappointed in them, not even mad. Because, I mean, come on. It's not that hard. Then again, those bodies do act in signs of good faith, as in you'll be driving the same with or without an examiner in the car, which sadly, even for examiners, is not the case. Well, they'll be driving the same if there's an examiner in the car, but they aren't driving the same as when they had an examiner in the car. That was not them. Like, come on, people. It's really not that hard. You can do it. Yeah, my patience is short today. Whew. I ain't got none of that stuff. Ho ho! Patience, what even is that? It's not something I am familiar with. Ha ha. Earlier I had a ride-sharing service in front of me that was missing 2 brake lights. I had considered breaking the rules to inform them, because missing 2 is 1 away from none, which is hella dangerous in my book. I ended up deciding, F it, they're a professional driver. They got to look after their vehicle, and if they don't, it's not my job to break the rules to tell them. Admittedly, in the past I have bent the rules to tell people. I believe it is in the spirit of greater good. Because everyone on the road wants everyone else to have functioning lights. And everyone wants to have functioning lights themselves, so might as well tell people, you know. But in that case, I assessed the risk of veering off of the road to tell them too high. So I didn't tell them, due to risk assessment. Well, due to the way the risk assessment ended up weighing out. Which I guess a funny way of putting it. Then again, it's like a cost-benefit analysis. The only difference is, in this case, the benefit is always larger than the cost, because the benefit is for at least all the people around them in traffic that they'll come across, which will always outweigh the individual, which is why I do tell people if their lights don't work, even though for me it's a very minor benefit. I have heard one other person say they tell people. I've never seen someone else tell anyone else. And I frequently do hope, because I keep my eyes out, to be able to tell people. Because hell, I mean, if 1 brake light's out, it's not the end of the world. People will still see you braking. But 1 brake light out is 2 away from none, and 1 away from 1. And as we all know, 1 is none, so, you know. There's a reason motor vehicles these days, by regulation have free brake lights. And yes, you could say make the whole back a load of brake lights, but free seemed a decent amount for regulators to decide, we'll do that. It's not expecting too much. I mean, there is vehicles with 5 brake lights, though few. I mean, buses have 4. So public transit has 4. Road public transit. But at the end of the day, come on. I mean, how hard can it be? Yeah, I do got a short fuse for patience today. Bloody hell. I'm sorry if I'm waffling on. I just need to get shit off my mind, and that's what I'm doing this for. You watching it is just a benefit. Thank you very much for watching, by the way. There we go, that's a thumbnail. That's a thumbnail if I've seen one. Like, I just don't get it. Another car doing approximately 50 kph in a 30. Another bicycle on the sidewalk where no bicycle belongs. In this case, it's even a pedelec, a electronically assisted bicycle, and electronically assisted bicycle. Like, I'll not get it anytime soon. Then again, I guess that's why I'm autistic and most people aren't. You just think it's not that hard. The moment your choice can impact others, just obey the rules, man. If your choice don't impact anyone else, or you deem it unlikely to impact anyone else, hell, do as you please. I mean, come on, I smoke and it's fucking unhealthy. But if I have a non-smoker aboard, unless they explicitly state I can smoke without asking, I do not smoke. Why? Because at that moment, I'm not just deciding for my own health, but someone else's as well. Come on. You got brains, use them. I hope you've got brains anyways. I, for matter of fact, know I do have a brain because I have used it as hand warmer. In the winter of 18 and 19. That was one hell of a hand warmer, I can tell you. Hell, I might make an optional thumbnail for this because I mess around with changing them. I might make one of those me then. Who knows? But in the end of the day, I know I got a brain. Admittedly, it's a sample size of 1, but apparently I'm human. Ergo, humans have brains. I'm sure other humans do too, you know. Can't be expecting that much. Not just straw and hot air. Because then they wouldn't be humans, then they'd be hot air balloons. And yet another bicycle coming the wrong way in this one-way street up ahead of me. Oh, never mind. He went onto the sidewalk. So he's now going the wrong way on the sidewalk instead of on the one-way street. Because that's so much less bad. I think I just need to fucking escape my mind for a bit. I don't know. Like, I understand this is not healthy to be upset about all this shit. The only reason I am upset about is, I guess, because I am setting the bar too high by setting the bar where I'm at. And apparently that's too high a bar for some people. I mean, if you look at these roads, I'm at too high a bar for at least half the people. Perceived everyone, but realistically, my perceived number's not going to be perfect, so I'm setting the bar too high for half the people, which oddly enough would be setting a median bar. Funny how that works. And that's the problem, I still give shits. Even though I aspired for mediocrity, and I still do to some level, I think I might just have the inherent problem of giving too many shits. Not about what others think of me, but of abiding by the rules for the rules' sake, and because I understand that I am not in the position to understand the arguments for all the rules. Because, hell, I'm not making the rules. That's been outsourced. That's the idea of society. Then again, were I a hermit, I would not have to worry. A fox just appeared in the grass between where I am and the one-way street on the side of the road and the main road, which is a 5-lane road, and a fox is in the grass. An urban dwelling fox. I'm repeatedly surprised by how they manage to stay alive. And again, I guess it's some selective bias, because one doesn't see the ones that are dead. Well, actually, no, I haven't actually seen any dead foxes on the road in this city. So the ones that died don't get to stick around, you know. Funny how that works. Yeah, but I really got to work on my patience. I might be fairly patient, but in the end of the day, if someone don't understand something when it's explained to them the 5th time, and they don't know to ask questions, even though they're a grown adult, I should have the patience to just endlessly repeat myself. Then again, I feel like that's a waste of both my time and their time. If others don't care or don't have the capacity to understand things, let's just say it and move on with other avenues in life, man. You don't got to do everything. That's why people are highly specialised. Am I repeating myself, repeating myself, repeating myself, repeating myself? Am I repeating myself? Like, yeah, okay, some specialisations might not be for you. Hell, I couldn't be a plod. I'd be too rule conforming, you know. I mean, the plod break rules right, left and centre. I saw one parked on the bus lane earlier, and that is actually one of the few bus lanes in the city that is one all week round, even Saturdays, as is today. Like, I couldn't be a plod if I wanted to. I'd be too fucking rule conforming. Come on. Who wants colleagues that report you for ill doing? I might be qualified for internal affairs. Who knows? If you have an opening, let me know. I probably wouldn't mind internal affairs with the plod. Then again, I'd probably get down to small infractions too much to see the bigger picture. I'm just too focused on small shit. I am the bar, and I am too high. Jokers, I am not actually high as in the sense of baked, as in on drugs. My bar is just too high. I should not set the bar where I am. Though I have a brain, and I know that for a fact. I do not know it with other humans, but I have to presume it to be true. If I presume it to be true, I also have to expect them to be able to use some of it, because why would they have it if they were not able to? I'm just going in circles, going round and round, round about. Am I repeating myself? I guess I'm just disappointed because I set the bar too high, because I should have self-esteem or more of it, to the point of perhaps arrogance. I wouldn't know, but yes, I can do a lot of shit, but the shit I can do is not that special. But apparently, if you compare it to some of many, I shouldn't say some of, for the sake of argument, I should actually say many other humans, I am setting the bar too high. And this is funny in my book because my humour's twisted, but I'm just built different, you know. Funny how that works. Anyways, thank you very much for hanging around and watching me waffle on about myself and life and all. I'll go home and try to kill the rest of the day somewhat sensibly. I still have an expose to write and 2 films to make. odds are I won't do any of that due to being an executive dysfunction, but who knows? I might make myself some dinner. I still got remnants of yesterday's lunch. I'll see you around. Hope you eat well. Stay safe. Cheerio.